Hi, I'm Brooke with the Tire Side Chat, and we're here for another high-octane discussion with Robbie Buhl to talk more of the teen street skills that you've started here in Metro Detroit, and want to hear more about you want to hear the platform.
The teen street skills, our cars are all behind us here. We're done for the season, but Teen Street Skills has been around for 10 years. It's a program, when I sold my IndyCar team, we built a race shop back here in Detroit. We wanted to have a place, at the time we had a rally car. So we had a little rally car. We're like, wouldn't it be cool for some of the schools and community to come and see how a race team operates in the shop, have some historical stuff. And so that was our initial plan. And then I was saying to my brother, I said, you know, I've always enjoyed teaching teams. Or how you made your living as a race car driver, you were an instructor. And before teen instruction was something you just taught performance driving. I said, wouldn't it be great if we did that here in Detroit? And there was an open parking lot, and that was the beginning of Teen Street Skills 10 years ago. I called a couple of car dealers here. I said, hey, can you guys give me a couple of used cars off your lots? And here we are. We just finished our 10th year. We've gotten over 5,000 kids, 5,000 plus kids. Teens have been through the program. And it truly, if, you know, you're familiar with it in the world of motorsports. I mean, the best thing that we can do for young drivers is to do the things we do at Teen Street Skills. But it shouldn't just be for young drivers. It should be for every driver on the road should do what we do at Teen Street Skills, which is skid car control, emergency braking, emergency lane change. And in doing those programs with the teens, again, we do some other things as well, but that's the core curriculum, is we hope they never have to use those skills. Yeah. But in challenging them to learn what a car is capable of doing, it gives them confidence behind the wheel. So it's really fun. It's incredibly rewarding to teach the teens that. It's fun to show anybody. Even we're here in Detroit, the car world, and you think everybody knows everything about cars here in Detroit, but just taking them through the simple of emergency ABS braking and showing why ABS braking is good, and hammering the brake pedal and hitting the gas as hard as you can, hitting the brake pedal, going through those functions of challenging a young driver is really important, and it gives them confidence. So it's fun. It's the best thing we can do to keep young drivers safe. And I'll stop at that. I'll let you ask another because I can tell you another thing of now after they've gone through the program, what the message is we leave with the kids.
Yeah. Well, what's some of the success stories that you've heard or seen come out of the program, and what's kind of the most shocking? Because most, like you said, most people haven't fully engaged their brakes before or fully seen their car in a slide scenario.
Yeah.
Well,
why? If you just bought a brand new car, why would you go out and just be driving along and hammer the brake pedal if you didn't have to? Right? So we're doing all that, you know, with our cars that we look after, and it's amazing we don't do anything special to them. They're regular street cars, but you know, we hammer them all season long, putting all these teens through there, and they hold up. I think, you know, we hear different stories from different parents, and for different reasons, and there, you know, there's definitely some stories we say is, you know, my son or daughter, if they hadn't taken your program, they would have been in a much bigger wreck. And we have some of those testimonials on the site because I think this is the best thing we can do for young drivers. But that's me. I'm biased, right? Because I'm part of it and I believe in it. The best thing that I tell our board of directors, and as we're always soliciting for more money so we can do more programs, because we are a 501c3, and we put a minimal cost to the teens. The expense of the program is a lot more, so it just helps contribute to it. Also, it truly is the one thing that makes a difference. And you talk about stories. So over the years, technology's evolved, right? And as we teach the teens, you always talk about different things. So one thing, for example, we don't talk about distracted driving until the end of the program. Because every teen that's there, they don't want to be there. Mom and dad have made them. But what just makes it why the instructors enjoy it, why we all enjoy it, is the transformation. You ask, the first class, who wants to be here? Nobody. By the end of it, they're like, this is fun. We want to spend more time in the car. All the instructors, we have a great group of instructors. They're like, these guys are cool. This was fun. I learned something. This is amazing what cars can do. So you now have their confidence, and they realize that this wasn't nails on the chalkboard and forcing them to sit through that. This was really cool stuff.
And you're giving them the confidence.
Totally giving the confidence, but now they're friendly with us. They're not there in a painful. So that's when we then at the end of the program, we talk about distracted driving. And part of the curriculum is your hands follow your eyes. So your eyes always need to be on the road. That's just part of the curriculum. But at the end of it, again, we hope they never have to use emergency lane change. We hope they don't have to hammer the brakes and get into ABS or get in a skid. But now they've been introduced to that. They know what a car is capable of doing. We hope they never have to use that. But really, if your eyes are out on the road and you're looking ahead and you're giving yourself an out. So one of the things that we've talked a lot more about in the last 3 years is always giving yourself an out. That wasn't part of our curriculum. An out is, make sure you have time to respond. So if you're looking ahead and you have enough time to respond, there's really no reason you should be in an accident. Now, somebody could hit you. And so that's the introduction of when we talk about distracted driving. And everybody thinks distracted driving is the cell phone. I mean, my cell phone's over there. It's a law now in Michigan. We put the cell phone down. It's like, okay, I'm not a distracted driver. There's so much association with distracted driving with the cell phone, but it's anytime your eyes are on the road, which is why we have these cars behind us that say Eyes Drive. Eyes Drive is just our social campaign of reminders of keeping your eyes on the road, because it takes a split second for something to happen. So we bring that message to the teens at the end, because talking at the beginning, they're not listening. All they want to do is get out and do something with us and get behind the wheel. So,
have you heard much rebuttals with the added safety technology in vehicles for autonomous driving, or even?
Yeah, not so much with autonomous, but again, where you have the emergency brake assist and the lane change, and those are all great things that help us as a driver. But if you still have emergency scenario and you got to yank the steering wheel or hammer the brakes, you still need to do that as the pilot of the car. So those technologies are great, but it still hasn't replaced what we're teaching. And again, we go back to the autonomous cars, which is coming. I shouldn't say autonomous, let's say driverless cars. Everybody says, not everybody. The people that are pushing those cars say they're safer than a human. There's less potential error when those cars are programmed correctly. I'm still not sure I'm going to be riding in one regularly, but they say it's coming.
It's coming soon, yeah. So going back to a little bit of what sparked Team Street Skills, when you retired from racing or moved on from the seat, was this impact something that you always wanted to have on the industry, or a gap that you always saw? What was your plan as you started the next career?
With Team Street Skills, no, I had already retired as a driver, but when I sold my interest in the IndyCar team, which was about 11 or 12 years ago, which was in Indianapolis, we wanted to have something back in Detroit. Again, a shop with our rally team. We wanted the grit and feel and being in Detroit. We wanted to be, we're in Corktown right now, and that's where our home is and our shop is here. We wanted, that 100-plus-year-old cool building with brick and feel to it to be our shop. So that's when I came back, and just when we were doing that, there was an open parking lot across from our building. I'm like, I've always really enjoyed doing that. I've talked about having a team program. I'm like, what do you think? And that's really how it started. So that wasn't the plan. The plan was to come back to Detroit and have a cool shop with, I'm a Detroiter. I love Detroit. I actually had 2 ancestors that were mayors of Detroit in 1844. Christian and Frederick Buhl were mayors. So we have a lot of history here in Detroit. So That's why we wanted to be down here. We love coming to Detroit, you know, we love the Red Wings, we love the Lions, and, you know, we have the Tigers, now we got the Pistons back. It's, so I enjoy being in Detroit, and so it just kind of evolved, and, again, Teen Streets, it is the best thing that we can do for young drivers. The thing that's tough about it is, you know, that there's not a simulation that we could do it for the masses. So it really is, you know, getting each teen through there. And yeah, you know, we've done 5,000 kids. I wish we could do 20,000 kids, but it just, it's tough. But it is the best thing we can do is physically get them behind the wheel. You know, you could talk to a teen. You could go and talk to a group and say, talk to them about your performance and motorsports and what a car is capable of doing. But you're not, I don't think you're going to break the barrier. You're not going to get to the like, okay, when's this going to be over? When you get them behind the wheel and you're telling them to hit the gas as hard as they can, hit the brake as hard as they can, yank the steering wheel, they're like, whoa, they stand up in the seat. All of a sudden, they're listening to us. Like the first time we do the demo run with ABS braking, they're like, whoa, we're in the game now, right? And again, we're doing this, you know, in our controlled space with professional drivers or riders. And again, we're not doing 100 miles an hour. To get to ABS braking, we're going to 37, 38 miles an hour. But you would think we're doing 100 with what we're asking to do and stay in the cones. So you should come through the program with us.
Yeah, I'd love to. So you kind of touch on some financial literacy in the program too, and you mentioned too the partners that help you get to all 5,000 of those students. Kind of
Your company should be a partner for us.
I can plant the seed.
So
but
I just say,
speak for it.
I have tried to talk to some folks there, but again, I know what we're doing, and we're always looking for more supporters and helpers with it. But no, so the core of the curriculum, again, it's a 3.5-hour program of what we do with Teen Street Skills. We do a morning program and an afternoon program. The core programs is skid car, okay? Can't say drifting, but the kids alienate with that, so you know it's fun. So we can cross over to that. Then you got emergency braking and emergency lane. Then we have a couple other components, and again, we don't want to just sit and lecture the kids. We want them engaged. So I've always felt an important part. You know, it's a privilege to drive a car, and you need to respect what a car is capable of doing. But it costs money. So we do have a financial literacy segment of just letting people know insurance, tires, maintenance, and we do that in a format of Kahoot. It's a game. So there's a winner, and at the end of it, we tell them we're going to give them a car, which we do, but it's a little Hot Wheels car, and then we have some other safety things. So we only do that for that program is 11 minutes, and we have it finished. And then we also have a Detroit police officer that comes and we do a car 101 walk around the car. I don't want him lecturing to them. So they're all casually doing that and realizing, you know, the police are there to help us and talk about, you know, he talks about, hey, when you get pulled over, here's what you need to do. Here's what you think about. And I've heard from the financial literacy that we first introduced that 4 years ago. And I'm hoping we're resonating with that. We did it in a fun format, because if what we're doing isn't fun and engaging, then it's not worth it. Then that doesn't make our curriculum. But a mom called me after the thing, and I'm like, well, what did your daughter think? And the first thing she talked about was the financial literacy. She's like, as soon as we got back in Dad's Jeep, she was trying to figure out how much money she had to make in her part-time job to take over Dad's lease payments in the Jeep. So I'm like, great. So the financial literacy part of what we do, it got through to them. So that checked the box. And again, I'm always amazed at some of the teens that, you know, when we, at the end of it, we ask, you know, comments, what'd you like? And so many of them really enjoy having a police officer there and talking to them. They, you know, and the guy that helps us, he's helped us now for 7 or 8 years. He comes on his off days to help us, even not so.
And so where do you see Teen Street Skills going in the next 10 years?
Well, that's a great question, because we just finished the first 10, and that's what we're talking about right now, is then, what are our goals the next 10 years, right? I'm getting older, so I want to make sure I have good younger instructors that are coming up that are more relevant to a team, right? Versus a 60-year-old guy, talking about things. We want to be relevant with that. Right now, our goal is we're doing about 20 programs. We want to double that. We want to go to about 40 programs, which is going to take us to, about 1,200 teens a year. That's where I want to keep getting to, and I want to keep pushing our message against distracted driving. And we have some good partners with it, but it's like pushing the rock uphill.
Yeah.
There's so many different distracted driving messages, and again, ours is just social and digital reminders of keeping your eyes on the road, and it's for teens, but it's for all of us. My dream right now for something like our Eyes Drive message, which again, the solution is in the message, Eyes Drive. If your eyes are on the road, you're not driving, right? So would be for maybe if Taylor Swift or somebody she knew was somehow involved in a distracted driving crash, and she said, hey, this is the best thing, everybody needs to follow Eyes Drive with her followers, that would be
Okay.
I'd like to have millions of followers of Eyes Drive and understanding that message.
So supercharge that
So
engagement in
can
any
you
way.
help me with that?
Yeah, I'll
Thank
see
you.
what I can do. Phone a friend. Is there any other way that the Detroit community could help drive?
No, just spread the word of what we're doing. And again, we are a nonprofit. We actually, so I'll give you a little bit more insight how we've evolved over our 10 years. When we started this, I wanted to be free for every teen. So that's how we started. And then some of our classes weren't full because parents and teens just didn't show up. And I went ballistic because our cost is the same. I got everything there. When they don't show up, we have people that are on the waiting list. So I get really pissed off. So we evolved then to have a refundable registration fee. So we got that number up to where it was, I don't know, where we were really doing well in managing that, and all of our programs were full. And we had a waiting list of 400, and our administrator, she was really good at, if somebody couldn't come, she would fill that spot. So we all classes full. Last year, but just because things are costing more, which is why Bosch will be a good partner to show their product and what it can do. That's a plug. So where we've now evolved with the program is it's a fee. So I think we charge $155 for the program. And the reason we did this, my board of directors, and I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to alienate any teen from coming through the program that wanted this experience.
Yeah.
So we still say, hey, if this is something somebody can't afford, let us know and we will make arrangements for you to still come. But here's why we charge the $155. My board of directors last year, when I said, hey, we need to raise more money so we can do more. Like I said, we want to kind of double of where we're at, go from the 750 to close to 1,300, get teens just at the numbers of it. But he said, Robbie, there's a perception in the world that we are in today. He said, if something's free, then there's no value to it. It's not good. If something's free, he's like, what you guys have been doing for 10 years, this is 9 years at the time, so this is a year ago. He said, just charge a nominal fee to offset what your cost is. So that's what we've done. We now have a fee of $155, which again is a pretty nominal fee for what it is we're doing in the scope of what it costs for teens to get a license now, and their drivers programs and all that. It's over $500. So.
Excellent. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Spread the word.
Exactly. Thank you for joining us on another Tire Side Chat, and we'll look forward to seeing where you head.